Hey guys, welcome. So my name is Stu. I run a channel here on YouTube. I actually haven't done anything with it in a while, but today I just keep seeing questions on social media, like on Reddit and Discord and some other places about maybe they've been running something else and they want to try out the Interceptor, that kind of thing. So I figured today I would just take a few minutes and make a short little video about just like some tips, like what makes it different than other javelins and things like that. Its pros and cons, that kind of thing, just so that you can make an informed decision about, maybe builds that you go for, why you equip certain items when you do that kind of thing. So I guess really quick, I'll just show you what I'm running on mine. So one of the main advantages of running the Interceptor obviously is its mobility. With that mobility, it doesn't have the the HP or the shielding that another suit might have, another javelin might have, but you can use different perks from different items to be able to maximize on that and stuff. Like for example, this Roundler's Blaze, it gives me 90% armor and 65% shield, which is really nice. And obviously these numbers are bugged out. As of right now, they haven't patched that one back up yet. But the other thing that this particular weapon gives me is it's a primer. So it ignites the target. It lights it on fire with a 5-hit streak. So I guess I'll show you an example of that really quick right now. So using primers is something that's really important as the Interceptor. So I lit that guy on fire, and then you see that I didn't have to use a special ability or something else. Wow, getting wrecked by that thing. This is Grandmaster 3, by the way. I didn't have to use anything else to be able to do that. Now, the other primer that I prefer running, especially in Grandmaster 3, is the Cryoglaive. So it's called the Sub-Zero when it's a Masterwork or a Legendary, but being able to freeze targets, like on these Koroks or whatever they're called, it's not that big of a deal, but when you have a lot of enemies that are shooting at you, being able to freeze things is really, really nice. Take that, grab it, Stu. All right. Anyway, so being able to prime targets and then gaining the aura, so it's combo. The way that it does combos is different than other javelins. So you detonate a combo explosion, but it's not like the Colossus explosion is like insanely massive. Like the AoE on that thing is crazy. But with the Interceptor, that combo explosion just happens on that target that you hit, and then you gain this aura. So then anything you get close to receives that aura. So you can see my aura just ran out over there, but and it depends on the enemy's resistance and stuff like that. Like that aura might not last that long or whatever, but that aura will spread. So it doesn't matter if it's ice or electricity, acid, fire. That aura will keep bouncing to new targets. So I just lit that guy on fire. Oh, it looks like it gave me a. I still had my ice aura from before. All right, so let's light this guy on fire, and then we'll get that fire going right there. So you see on the left of the screen it says the fire aura is active. So if I find another target here, okay, so I just flew by that guy, so you see he's on fire now. So you get all the benefits of when an enemy is on fire or when they're covered in acid and stuff like that. You get all of the benefits of having that element procced on them. So they're taking that fire damage, or like with acid, for example, it also lowers their resistances. So like your melee attack will do more damage, that kind of thing. So those are like some of the biggest tips, like for starting out, is just realizing how the combos work on the Interceptor. Because for me, when I first started playing it, it was a little bit more confusing than other ones. Like with the Ranger, it makes sense. Like you shoot somebody and it deals like huge combo damage to a single target. Or with the Storm or the Colossus, like you get maybe a bigger AoE combo area kind of thing when you're doing things. With the Interceptor, I was kind of confused by the aura, like just for a little bit. But that's how it works. So make sure you have a primer. Is basically what I'm saying. So having this weapon is really nice, but when you're first starting out, obviously you're not going to have a masterwork. You're not going to have a masterwork version of this weapon. That's not going to come until much later in the game. So like on these guys, for example, brutes, they're really strong, like if you're matched up well with the level that you play at. So having that ice aura is really, really nice because when they come up to you, they'll freeze before they can actually attack you, that kind of thing. So having ice is really nice, like especially for GM3, or if you're trying to play above the level that you're used to playing at. Wow, you guys just keep coming. The other thing is, like, if you're going for a strictly melee build, target beacon is really nice to be able to keep on there because it drops the enemy's resistances, so that you're dealing more damage as you're swinging. Other things that are nice for melee builds, like I mentioned before, is using acid is really nice. So if you have like some kind of acid build, or if you have like the acid slugs, which is a masterwork or legendary item, you can use a shotgun and use the shotgun to then prime your targets instead of having to waste the item slot for something else. Like if you wanted to save your abilities for other things. So I guess let's get somewhere safe, and then I can show you some of the other items that I would recommend building out as you're working on building your Interceptor. There we go. All right, this should be relatively safe up here. I don't think anyone can get me. Sometimes the turret shows up over there, but anyway, I guess we'll know if we start taking damage. So as far as weapons go, so as you're playing your Interceptor, there will be times, like I said before previously in the video, it's not the healthiest of javelins out there. So this suit doesn't have, by default, tons of health, tons of armor, that kind of thing. It's meant to have strong melee builds and work really well for, like getting into a fight and moving around and that kind of thing. You're not supposed to be just tanking hits. So using your movement to your advantage is really important. But sometimes, as you're doing that, you're still just taking a whole bunch of damage and you need to get away from the fight so that your shield can come back or whatever. And remember that your shield comes back faster the faster you move. So there's that set amount of time that your shield will take to begin regenerating, but the faster you're moving when it starts regenerating, the faster it will go up. So like using your dash and flying, those are the best way to get your shield back up. But while you're waiting for that to come back up, it's really nice to have weapons that you can count on. I just have this Avenging Herald in because of its luck stat, but if I wasn't worried about luck, I would put something else in that would allow me to like attack from a distance. Like this Divine Vengeance causes like fire explosions and stuff like that. But if I didn't have this kind of stuff, I guess I can't craft when I'm out in the world, but I was going to show like some lower level weapons, but I guess these are like the lowest level things that I have. But I would put in something else. Like something I used to run is, I can't remember what this is called, is like the Devastator or something like that. But this sniper rifle, I used to run this as a secondary back before, I had other options at my disposal. I used to run this and that kind of stuff. Looks like we are taking damage now. How did we get hit? I swear we just took damage. Did you guys see the screen just flash red? Was it you? Getting strong with me, boy? Anyway, sorry about that. Where were we? All right, so back into the forge. Oh yeah, so weapons. Make sure you have something that can dish out damage from a distance. That's the main point of what I'm babbling about and what I'm trying to say. Make sure that you have a weapon or weapons that allow you to dish out damage without pushing yourself back into the fight. If your health is low, you're waiting for some health packs to drop, that kind of thing. Make sure you have stuff in that's effective for letting you defend yourself. When I was starting out, shotguns were really important because I was trying to build out like just for melee, not for other stuff, because that's really the Interceptor's strong suit. So I kept a shotgun with me, and then I kept that other exploding sniper rifle with me. It was really nice for hitting groups of enemies, that kind of thing. So make sure you have one of those with you, regardless of the level that you're at. And obviously, this legendary stuff has other perks that make it nice for me to put it in, that kind of thing. But this one I run. So like as you get into Masterworks and Legendaries, like if you're going to run a Cryoglaive, like I had mentioned before, get one that has a lot of charges like this one, because the Cryoglaive, it takes 20 seconds to come back. Or this one, for example, it gives me a 44% gear recharge on just this item, and then a 15% suit-wide gear recharge. And then I've also got some other gear recharging bonuses throughout my throw my javelin to help this thing come back much, much faster, which makes it a very, very effective tool. But yeah, like acid, I use probably for the majority of the hours that I've played, I've probably got like 250 hours or so, like just on the Interceptor. I used acid builds like a ton. So, using the acid grenade and things like that was perfect for comboing and then for increasing the amount of damage you're doing to enemies, which also helps increase the amount of force you deal to enemies. So the knockback is better, like especially for bigger enemies. That's really nice. That kind of thing. And then your components, build out what you can, but like if you're building out for melee, which, if you're running an Interceptor, that's what you should be doing anyway. Try to find things that give you melee boosts and stuff. Even if it's not, like when I don't have any of my my lower level stuff anymore, but as an example, I had like a 50% melee boost on, it was on like the specialized sniper ammo, the epic version of it. I had it was like a 50% melee on that, and then there's I had a 45% melee on some other one, and it wasn't super useful for the rest of my build, like giving me health and armor and shield and stuff like that, but it gave me really good melee perks. So just things like that. Maybe you're not looking to build out like a melee thing. Maybe you're looking for other things, or maybe you have like an incredible weapon that you want to use the weapon more. For example, like I've got some better Rounder's Blaze that have much better like damage output and things like that. And with the Interceptor, like once you get a masterwork or a legendary of this guy, it gives you infinite ammo. So having things like that, just build it out like that. But like I mentioned before, the main perks of using the Interceptor are its speed and agility. And if you're not using that, then you may as well just use a different suit. Is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm not used to talking and playing this game at the same time. I've done that with other games and stuff, but this game, just like the movement and the world and everything are a lot more distracting. So I'm not quite used to it. So forgive me if I've sounded quite a bit airheaded, because I was. I'm just not used to playing this and talking and stuff. Ooh, an Ursix. All right, let's take this out and then we'll end up the video. Where did he go? I'm gonna take your fragment, Ursix. Where are you? Aha, there you are. All right. So for Ursix, make sure you're dodging their rocks and stuff like that. And remember, this is on Grandmaster 3, so your mileage may vary with stuff, but then using perks to your advantage, like you get a lot more damage if you're hovering with this thing. And as I take a rock, I'm like, make sure you guys are dodging, Oops. There we go. We'll hit him with another target beacon, and then we'll try hitting him again. I'm trying to hit his head, but this big thing doesn't really work out. But really, like melee is where you're at if you're running an Interceptor. So make sure you're using that kind of stuff when you're taking down big guys like this.
You've done it.
Looks like you got a masterwork, but not really interested in masterworks these days. Not too bad at all. I wish that for these events, because it's only the Ursix, it's not like there's other enemies and stuff around. I wish that they make the Ursix like an epic or a legendary or something like that, so that you have a lot better chance of getting good loot from it. I don't know. Maybe they're just like, well, you get good loot from an Ursix anyways, because it guarantees 2 drops, and they have a higher rate of dropping masterworks or legendaries. But I don't know. I think it'd be nice if you get the extra chances of masterworks or legendaries by having a stronger enemy. Especially, like I said, since it's only one enemy, it's not like you're fighting an Ursix and a whole bunch of scars or something like that. You have to worry about not getting started on fire, that kind of thing. But anyway, so that's kind of some. I was like, what? This is all I'm getting. That's kind of some general stuff on the Interceptor. And like I said, I know this video is a little bit spacey, but hopefully that gets some of you guys started out. So I guess just to recap, making sure that you have primers on you. And so if you're unfamiliar with what that is, a primer, they're marked with, whoops. So you can see this little circle right here. They're marked with that on whatever item you're looking at. And so that item then will prime a target for you, which sets them up for a detonation. This works as a detonator, so you can see that detonator icon right there. But also, you know, so does my melee attack. Let me pull up my in-game HUD right here. Okay, so you can see on the in-game HUD on the bottom right, it shows all my abilities and stuff like Z, Q, E. So V, where it shows for the melee attack, it has that detonator target there too. And I think every suit has their melee attack as a detonator. But so I don't really feel the need to build out when you're building an interceptor. I don't feel the need to build detonators into like what I'm carrying with me, like for equipment and stuff like that, because if you're using melee all the time anyway, then you already have one built in. There's really no need. And your aura requires you to be able to be close to make the use of your combo abilities. So, you know, so just use that for your detonator. Then other stuff uses primers or like this one I just use for damage because it creates a big fire explosion and stuff. And if you jump up and above a target and you hit him with that, it deals a couple. It does the damage like a few times over. So I could deal like 200,000 damage, for example, if I've got my target beacon on like a scar or something like that, and then I drop on their face with, you know, with that thing, because it's got the fire explosion as well as just the initial melee drop damage and stuff. So yeah, so save your space for stuff that can help you dish out damage or just give you, you know, good support abilities if you're used to running in teams and stuff like that. You don't have to run what I'm running. You know, do whatever you want. Do whatever's fun to you, but that's just the general tips. Make sure you're running primers. Make sure you're using the speed and the maneuverability of this thing to your advantage. And if you have to get somewhere fast, like just as a tip, you guys have probably seen this and are annoyed by interceptors and like strongholds. But like when you're flying, you can hit the melee button and then dash 3 times, like pretty much whenever you want, and it really speeds up your traversals. It makes you go way faster. So you can keep doing that all the way across the map. There's, you know, no set amount. It has those 3 jumps and stuff, but you can consistently use those to get you from A to B really, really fast. So anyway, like I said, my name is Stu. That's our quick look at the Interceptor, which probably wasn't a very quick look because I jabber a lot. And yeah, anyway, that's the video, guys, and I hope you have an amazing day.